Welcome to Lesson 2, Taking Advantage of Adobe Bridge. Adobe Bridge is the command center for your Creative Cloud applications and offers tools that allow you to sort, search, and batch common tasks. In this lesson, you'll go beyond using Adobe Bridge as a method for previewing thumbnails and actually explore more of its functionality. So you can see I have Adobe Bridge open right now, and I'm going to locate my lesson files by simply clicking on Desktop. Now, I want you to notice that I have favorites and folders up here, so I can navigate by favorites, which just includes my common folders as a default, or I can see everything on my computer by clicking on the Folders tab. Now I'm going back to favorites, I'm selecting Desktop. I can see that I dragged my lesson files over here and I'm opening them up, and I'm opening up Lesson 2. When I open up the files the first time, they have to cache. They have to build a preview. So it might take a minute the first time that you open up a folder, but then you've got them in memory or in the cache so that they build rapidly after that point. If you work in real estate or you work with lots of images, you're a photographer, once in a while you might need to go to Tools, Cache, and do something that sounds really bad, but it's really not. That's purge the cache for this particular folder because it can take up space and it can slow down your system. Now I have Adobe Bridge here, and the first thing I want you to see is that down at the bottom I've got several different ways that I can preview my thumbnails. Depends on whether I need the metadata or the thumbnail more. Now I'm going back to just the thumbnail view, and you'll see that I can also use the slider to increase or decrease this. If I'm looking at a particular file, I can click on it, and you'll see I get a preview over here as well as information about that file, including information that I can edit. In addition to these views at the bottom, I also have workspaces across the top, like Film Strip, Metadata, and then also Keywords. I'm going back to Essentials, and I want to explain the panels in here. I have a preview panel, of course, that I can even zoom into if I need to. I have Metadata, which provides me the information including about the camera. So if I close up some of these other ones, GPS and video, and some of the ones I'm not using, Diacom, which is used in the medical field, mobile SWF, you'll see that when I scroll up, I have file properties, I have IPTC core information, and I even have IPTC extension information about the camera. I also can add keywords if I want, and you'll see some default ones in Adobe Bridge to begin with. And if you happen to know someone named Matthew or Ryan who's graduating or getting married, that's great, but I'll show you how to add your own in this lesson as well. Some of my favorite features are these. In addition to favorites and folders, you also have something called collections and filter. And so if I go to filter, the filter panel automatically recognizes all the types in here, all the dates, and all the keywords. So for instance, if I come in here and I select that I want a JPEG, I can click on JPEG and only the JPEG show up, or maybe an MP4. And I'll uncheck that, and I just want to see Photoshop documents. Or how about anything that's got an aspect ratio of 3 to 4, or even the date modified. So again, really quick and easy. Now, if I'm looking for an Adobe Illustrator file and I don't see it listed as a file type, it's not in this folder. So it makes it really simple. You go someplace else to look. If you like particular images, you can of course select them, and then you go up to Label, and you can either use the Command or Control key to put a star rating in or select one here. Now let me show you how you can go to folders, and you can actually create an additional folder if you want. This is just like your directory system. So I could just open up this lesson folder by double clicking on it, or just clicking on it once, in fact, and then I can see the file images that are in those folders. And then I can even come over here to the upper right and select that I want a new folder, and I'll call this Hotels. And then I'll even drag some files in here. So I'll take this hotel picture and maybe in fact all of these and drop them in. Now, if this is a folder I use on a regular basis, I might want to go to the Favorite tab and drag that in at the bottom so that I can access it quickly and easily anytime I want. I can also use the Go Back to go back to the last folder I was in. That is not going in the hierarchy of your folders, just in the way that you've navigated your folders. Now let me take something a little bit further. I'm going to take these 3 images because they're similar. I selected one and I shift clicked on the last one, and I'm pressing Command or Control G to group them. That's called stacks, and you can also select that as Group as Stack from the Stacks menu at the top. By stacking something, I can keep them together, or of course, I can separate them. I can run through a little slideshow in here as well. Now, also to help me organize my files, I can select a file and I can go into the metadata and add metadata that's searchable, but also to help me build a metadata template. So I'm going to scroll up a bit, and in Description Writer, I'm going to put that I am a student, and then I'm going to add the description that this is Kona Village Luau. If I'm good with that, I press the Apply button down at the bottom, and that metadata has been applied. Now I'm clicking on keywords because I can also come in here and add some additional keywords. So I'm going to press the plus sign to add a new keyword, and I'll put in smiles. I'll put another keyword in, and this one will be luau. And maybe I want a sub keyword for this. So you'll notice that I can press the button that says new sub keyword. And in here, I'll put family. Now I need to check these to make sure that they actually get applied. And it looks like, oh, there's my smile right there. If you need to move them, you can by clicking and dragging. So next, maybe I want to apply that to several different images at once. You'll notice that under Tools, you can create a metadata template. And if I select this feature up here, you'll see that I have those keywords applied, and I can choose to save them in my metadata template. So I'll select all these items, and then I could add more if I want. Maybe I just want to say fun. And I can name the template, and in this case, I'll call it Hawaiian Luau, and then press save. So now I want to apply that to many different images. I'll select my images, and in fact, I'll just cross over that other one. I'm selecting one, and then I'm shift clicking to select the whole group in between. And then I'm going up to Tools, and I'm selecting Append Metadata, and I can apply that metadata template to all of them. I could have also selected Replace. By appending, I can keep any keywords and other specific metadata that's unique to the images in addition to applying the new metadata. So if I click on any one of these, you'll see that they now have the keywords applied. And if I go to metadata, you also see that the metadata has been applied as well. This makes it really easy for me to press Command or Control F and find things, because now I actually have valid keywords on all of these, and I even have descriptions. Now I'm going to show you one more feature, and it's one of the batch features that Adobe Bridge offers. I'm going to select all these images, and they're not really named appropriately, so I want to provide them with a better name. I'm going under Tools, and I'm selecting Batch Rename, and you'll notice that I can select text. So I'll type in here Hawaiian sequence number. How about we do sequence number of 2 digits starting with 1. I can add additional items here. Maybe I want a new extension or a date time. I'm going to subtract that for now. In fact, if you have additional options here, subtract them, so we're just left with a really simple name. And you'll see that in here, if I spell it correctly, down at the bottom, it's giving me a preview of what the file name is going to look like. Now, when I click Rename, I have the choice of either moving these to another folder or copying to another folder, so I can browse and select one and even create a new folder, or I can just rename these in the same folder, which I'm going to do for right now. When I click Rename, all the files are renamed with a more appropriate name. Now here's another great feature you can take advantage of as well. Perhaps I want to take several of these images and put them together. I'm selecting the Hawaii logo and just one of the other pictures. Doesn't matter what. Now I'm holding down my Command or Control key in order to select them both. I'm going under Tools to Photoshop, and I'm selecting Load Files in as Photoshop layers, And you'll see that the files come up and they open up. And now I already have these two together, quick and easy. And you'll see that I already have these two layered together, and it's very quick and easy. So in this lesson, you discovered some great features you can take advantage of in Adobe Bridge for Creative Cloud.